You cannot take it with you, but the things that you leave behind can definitely still impact those who are left behind. We can leave these awesome legacies and memories and things that we want while we're on this earth as we leave this earth to friends and loved ones. But we also quite often leave debt and bills that have to be accounted for when a person passes away. What's going on, everyone? This is Courtney Rollins from Estate Pro Service, the certified probate expert in Durham County probate expert, here to chat with you about claims against the estate in probate in North Carolina on the Life and Transitions Experts podcast. So let's go ahead and rock and roll. I must say again, I am not an attorney or offering any legal or financial advice, but I am sharing my experience digging into probate in North Carolina and helping families, particularly those who have real estate and have difficulty navigating the process and would like a streamlined, smooth process by folks who are leading with our hearts and listening with our ears and working hard with our hands to make sure that we get things done in an efficient manner that hopefully will leave you very satisfied and help you think about how to prepare your family, yourself, to avoid probate in the future. All right. So what is probate? Probate is the legal process that many estates have to go through when they pass. When someone passes away, if there's unresolved debt or there's even inheritance that have to be distributed, and there aren't other legal remedies in place or instruments such as a trust or even survivorship dictated by particular contracts and things that were set before the death, then the estate has to go through probate. Someone has to be responsible for making sure that the debts are paid off and the inheritance and all that stuff is distributed, taxes paid, all that good stuff. Now, each state has its own specific guidelines for how claims or possible debts are owed and qualified and addressed. So let's take a look at North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Twisted it. Okay. All right. Peter Pablo fans. Dope. All right. So in North Carolina, all the claims against the Senate's estate, which took place prior to the death, other than state and federal taxes and others claimed by insurance, or covered by insurance, have to be shared with the personal representative by the date specified in the notice to creditors. So when the notice to creditors, and go back to old, you can, if you're reading this, then definitely click on that link and check out the notice to old creditors. And if you're reading, it's hard for me to, I'm not sure why I just said that, because it would be, regardless, you'll see the link. But if you're watching this or listening to this, go back to the videos on what the notice of creditors is. In there, it specifies that a particular way that you as a personal representative has to notify creditors. There's specific places that has to be in, publications, specific timeline, and usually they're given 90 days creditors to come out and say, hey, we have a claim against this estate, this stuff is owed against us. Now, if it's a government agency, they can make a claim at any time. There's actually a case that was held where a young lady, someone passed away, and the personal representative, who eventually became the personal representative, notified the hospital. I believe it was Medicare that was paying the expenses, notified the hospital of the descendant's death, and then about 3 years later opened up probate, and at the end of that 3-year stature or time, tried to claim that hey, the government is outside their claim because they're outside the statute of limitation for making claims. That was not held up by the courts, and it was appealed. And I do need to check on that appeal, but I believe it was still not held up, and it was determined that a government agency does not fit the criteria. So make sure that if you are a personal representative and there are taxes, state or federal, or other things that are owed by the government, they are going to get their funds. So if a state does not have enough money to pay the claims, so the personal representative, after they wait 90 days, they should not pay any claims before that time, because you need to make sure there are a particular priority based on whose claim and what the claim is of what needs to be paid. And I have that outlined here. We'll go over that in a few moments. But do not make any payments, or recommend you don't make any payments to anyone until the time period is closed, where all creditors can make their claims or any justifiable, sufficient time frame. Now, after priority claims are paid, then the personal representative. Now, if there's not enough money there, the personal representative outside that time will start paying by order of priority of creditors with the funds that exist. And then if there's any left over, they can distribute it proportionally to the next creditor, the next highest priority. Now, the order of priority of claims, all right? So after all the expenses that cost to conduct the administration of the probate, gas money or paying the attorney, if you have, or if there's a survivor or dependents and they were given a year's allowance, that must be paid first. After all of that, then the personal representative must pay claims against the court, particularly in this order. Property liens, that's the first. Number one is property liens, anything held against the property up to the amount of the value of the real property. So it can't go past the either appraised value of the appraised value of the real property. Funeral expenses, specifically the funeral expenses of buying a burial site and a gravestone. Now, before October 1st of 2009, the funeral expenses that had to be paid were up to $3,500. That's anyone after 2009, there was an additional $1,500 cost connected to the purchase of the burial site and the gravestone. Now, any other funeral expenses outside of the burial site and gravestone do not have the priority to be paid first. They should be paid under the claims that you'll notice in number 8 that we're talking about. So number 1, property liens. Number 2, funeral expenses, specifically burial site and grave sites. Number 3, all federal taxes due. All right, so that's pretty simple enough. Number 4, all state taxes due, or that's due to any local governments in North Carolina, is due. And then number 5, there are any judgments that have been logged, or should we say have been put into force, where the liens of where it was there at the time of the death. This includes Medicaid and claims under there. They have to be paid in that next order. That's number 5. And then number 6, if the estate had employees, any wages they were due for the descendant for the period of no more than 12 months immediately preceding the death, and any cost of any medical services that were related during that time, no more than 12 months preceding the death, and the cost of any necessary drugs or other medical supplies that were incurred during the last illness of the descendant, not to exceed 12 months, have to be paid then at that time. All right. And then number 7, actually there's 7A and 7B, any inheritance, a claim for equitable distributions for any of the assets or businesses or stocks or things of that nature that a person has will be paid at that time. And then if they have any farm operation expenses, that is also on the same level of inheritance and equitable distribution. Now, number 8 is all other claims. So that's credit card debt and things of that nature, those particular examples. All right. So as you can see, there are a lot of detail and tasks, really meticulous tasks that are required tasks that require meticulous attention when you're going through probate process. And it is definitely something that you're not legally required to go through with an attorney, but it's highly recommended that you have an attorney to make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And even then, with our amazing attorneys out there, there are things like doing the footwork to go find these different claims, or having the right paperwork and being able to organize it. So many things that the attorney is going to direct you to do, but won't do yourself, that we at Estate Pro Service have stake our claim in being able to help provide a full service vendor to folks to help you smoothly and efficiently navigate the probate process. If you need support, if you know anyone, we definitely ask and recommend that you reach out to us, let us know, and we will, particularly in North Carolina, help you, especially in Durham, North Carolina. And outside of the area, we are connected to a nationwide registry of vetted estate planners, whether you need an estate planning attorney, a probate attorney, or perhaps another certified probate expert in your area. We would love to connect you there. All right. So if you've come this far because you want to learn more about the probate process, awesome, great. You can learn more at Life and Transitions Experts podcast or channel on YouTube. The podcast is also on Spotify, Apple. Would love a like, a subscribe, a review. any feedback that helps us make this stronger for folks out there is definitely highly encouraged. And we hope that you come check us out every Wednesday. I'm live in the Facebook group interviewing someone that's amazing or providing some type of detailed hopefully instruction, hopefully that's helpful to you all. So love to see you there. Hope you all have a great, wherever you are, whatever time that you're hearing this, a great day. And let's continue to rise up, because rising tides, it lifts all sails. Peace.